Hi everyone, hope your day has been blessed so far. Today I want to talk a little bit about the extremities that you have to go through when dealing with trying to find bed bugs in your home. As I show everyone the length of what I'm going to do in the processes of finding and eliminating bed bugs from my home, I'm going to also be talking about the psychological damage it's doing to my family. Let me say first and foremost, from all the research and all the videos and all the pinpoints on the map of how drastic this infestation of America is, I feel like humans are losing the war against bed bugs, and it's just overwhelmingly unfair that anyone would have to deal with that. Just as anything else anyone would have to deal with that's out of their control. You have no idea where they came from. And if you did, it doesn't matter where it came from at that point, because now you have to deal with your home. So when we first saw one, I had already been being bit for a few days, blaming it on other insects. Nothing in my mind would have said it's a bed bug. And when we found one, it was fully engorged. I had been bit 1,000 times, and as big as it was, I assumed that it was the one that was biting me for days. We were actually able to capture it and kill it. We saw nothing for a few days later, and then we found a smaller one about 3 or 4 days later, and he was on one of my baseboards in my bedroom at the head of my board. Now, we had already wrapped all of our bedboards in casings, as we should have, even though we inspected everything at first and there was no signs of bed bugs, no carcass. Oh, I take that back. One of our box springs, had been donated to us, and like I said, you don't think about bed bugs, but we did look at it, check it out or whatever, but we didn't flip it over under the bottom. So under the very bottom where the mattress sits on the floor, or the box springs or whatever he had it sitting on, we noticed some shell casings of some sort. And now that I think about it, I don't know how confident we were that they were actually bed bugs casings. Either way, we walked it out. We walked it out to the trash and got rid of them, and made sure we wrote on it to let whomever know might try to scavenge it, hey, you don't want these problems. And so after that, we were fine for a while. Now today, it's been about another 3 days later. I have been staying up all night long. I've had my alarm clock set for every 30 minutes to wake up and catch somebody, because I was so tired of being bit. I had one of those bad reactions to it, and it was to the point, because I had 5 bites consecutively on my leg, that my whole leg swelled up, and that was a little bit out of hand. We've called and had 2 exterminators come out, who also found nothing, but also offered to charge us basically $1,000 to do, everything that they could do to help us fight. And now that I'm noticing them coming out one by one, each one getting smaller than the one before, I'm starting to feel like what came in and laid and hatched, we're now catching what's hatching. So I actually feel positive that if we can continue to catch these, that we will eventually eradicate them from our home, which is priority. I started vacuuming, and I actually souped up my vacuum to suck even harder than what it was. And now I'm going to go over everything again, because the way that it's sucking now, I actually sucked some stuff from under there, and I was proud of that. So I'm going to go over everything again. It's really tiring working on half sleep, still having to provide and do what I have to do for the family. But it's a fight you just can't afford to lose, because we have, just as much as anybody else would in their home, and you can't really get rid of everything and start from scratch, which I would be willing to do. And everybody says that, hey, you could go get a whole brand new house, and if somebody isn't handling their infestation correctly and they're constantly coming to your home, we're going to be back at square one. That's very nerve-wracking. So I know people don't want to talk about it, don't want to tell family members about it. It's so serious that we kind of know so we can fight together. Because once you talk to a few people and they say, hey, yeah, I've seen some somewhere or here or there, you know, it's not like, oh, well, you can't come over here and I'm not coming over there. It's, okay, so we need to fight together so we can visit each other safely, you know, and peacefully. And that's what I've lost, peace in my home. And I just want to say, anybody who's fighting with that, you know, it's hard. I'm not going to lie. I don't even know how hard it's going to get, because I feel like in a few weeks, it's going to be like a hive just going to like erupt, and it's going to be everything going everywhere, and people are going to be running and screaming, and all of a sudden it's going to be a fire, and I just whatever. So I'm going to take everything from my drawers, clean everything out of my drawers. Everything's going into the washer and dryer, and I mind you, that's pounds of clothes. But I'm going to go from corner to corner with the vacuum, so I have to get everything out. It's usually not like that, but I moved the bags in out of the floor so that I could start vacuuming around. The one thing that one of the pest control did leave me with is that vacuuming is your friend in your dryer. Unfortunately, now I can do that. I have not seen anything, so I know that we're way out ahead of what some people are fighting, what an infestation goes. I mean, it's getting really crazy. Every spot that we think may be something is just keeping us woke at night. And I want my home back. I want my peace back in my home. More than that, I want my sleep back in my home. So just as I was saying in the beginning, I just wanted to show you guys some of the extent that you're going to need to go through to fight and find. And for me right now, I'm really not even fighting. I'm trying to find them. And I know that's really even more strenuous than finding a needle in a haystack, because I feel like they could be under those floorboards and I'll never get them. And they seem to like me in particular. And I hate being the bait, but I'd much rather be the bait than anyone else in my family. So I will upload one in the future when I find out something, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for listening.